Hello everyone, today we're looking at one of these. This is a Ericsson A1018s. This is one of the more modern Ericssons. This one is GSM 1800. I'm not too sure if actually these were dual band. I got a funny feeling they were. Don't quote me on that though, because I'm not an expert when it comes to Ericssons. I do actually have quite a few of these. Well, not this very one, but a few Ericssons in my collection. I got a lot of the older ones, not so much these newer ones that are quite small. I got a lot of the bigger ones that's quite sort of tall ones that were all GSM 900, some analog ones as well. This in my book is a fairly modern phone as such. These were okay, I guess. I'm not a fan of Ericsson. It doesn't mean to say they make bad phones, but I just don't have the full range in my collection. So let's take a look inside. It shows you what you got: the phone, the battery, an AC charger, and what looks like some sort of belt clip, I think. But I've got a few other things in this box as well. So let's take a look inside. So right off the bat, I don't think you got the leather case. So I think this was obviously the previous owner's personal one. I'm not sure why he had two of them, but maybe he had one for each ear. I don't know. You got obviously the charger. This is a nice chunky 3-pin because this is obviously out of the UK. Now the beauty about this phone is you could change the fascia on it a bit like some of the old school Nokias as well. Real nifty if you wanted to change the look of your phone. This happens to be just the yellow one. And then you got the earpiece. This doesn't look used at all actually. In fact, it looks like the foam has been disintegrating in the bag by the looks of it. I don't know if you can tell, but there's all sorts of little black crumbs in there. So yeah, but anyway, doesn't interest me that. You got a desktop charger, which I'm not sure was actually standard, but this is the equivalent to the desktop shoe I showed you guys. I think it was a couple of weeks ago. I did the Nokia 5.1 orange one, and actually it is this one here. This is the Nokia equivalent. This just happens to be the Ericsson. Again, rear pocket just for battery, front pocket for phone and battery, exactly identical to the Nokia ones. It's just the Nokia ones, you had a nice little discharge button to condition the battery. I guess Ericsson forgot to put that on their battery charger, their desktop shoe rather. But anyway, so you got that, and then you got obviously the manual, which is quite a large size manual actually, in terms of size. Nice colorful with some pretty girl there, and loads of pictures, loads of diagrams on how to, they even showed you how to put the fascias on, the battery, turning your phone on and off, and a couple of instructions on what the screen displays and whatnot. All standard stuff really. Menu structure, a couple of things on how to. Anyway, yeah, bored already. Anyway, let's take a look at the phone then. This is what the phone looked like, and I think the default was obviously blue. You could obviously take that off and put the yellow one on if you wanted to, or if you're so inclined. It's just that the yellow one, I don't think even said Ericsson, so maybe this is even a third party. We'll stick with the Ericsson one, and that'll be the end of it. Now, I'm not too sure the battery on this holds juice. So I might have to plug it in. Oh, we need a SIM card, don't we? That might help. Let me plug the phone in and get a SIM card. Okay, so I don't know if you know, but this is the connector on the old Ericssons. Real obscure looking thing. Why won't this zoom? Will it zoom? Not even sure if it will, but it's a bit of plastic with two contacts on either side, with one contact on either side. So we're gonna have to. This battery doesn't hold that much juice, I don't think. So I'm gonna connect that when I put a SIM card in. First off the pile, just a regular old standard orange UK SIM card. Actually, no, is that a UK one? Might even be might be a Swiss orange. Actually, I'm not even sure. I'll have to check. But whatever the case, we'll soon find out if that works or not. So the SIM card starts in like so. This is a little fiddly to get back out. So you need to lift the SIM and push it back up. Original phones came with a warranty seal sticker, which was a nuisance if you wanted to open the phone up, but hey ho. And the genuine Ericsson batteries obviously came with a nice little hologram there. And the contacts up here were obviously matching with that. So now, like I said, I'm not sure if this does have a bit of juice in it. It will most likely die. It says welcome to Orange. That's because we put an Orange SIM in it. I'm hoping this will just pick up service. I haven't tried this before, so we shall see if this will actually pick up a little bit of service. Good thing about these is when they pick up service, they beep, I think 3 or 4 times. Seem to recall most Ericssons of the era doing that. Real nice feature, but if it does that every time it loses service and picks it up, that could get a little bit irritating, I think. So there we go. Oh well, it's picked up 1-to-1, yeah, because Orange obviously don't exist anymore. They've taken down all the cell towers and just left the 1-to-1 network, but I guess that works. Might not need a charger after all, so I'm going to leave this up here just on the case we need it. Oh well, that's fallen anyway. So the good thing about these is they had a little green light when it was in service. Real basic phones in my opinion, these, but they did have a menu and you accessed it with these 2 buttons here. So basically, let's take a look. So you got EE SIM menu. So you got ring level, obviously ringtone level, info, and the way you select these was obviously yes. So if you want to go in there, last call, total calls, call list. And that was it. To get out, you obviously do no. That would be call divert. Standard stuff really, this. Networks is always a good one. Select network. What else we got? Search mode, edit list. This would be your network lists that are programmed into the SIM. No search, select network. Well, let's see what it does. It might pick up just 1-to-1, or if it picks up any of the others, then obviously we'll know that it's GSM 900 as well. I got a funny feeling it might be. I'm not sure though. Like I said, Ericssons aren't my forte in terms of knowledge. BD Cellnet, UK Vodafone. Yeah, so this does look like actually it's dual band. So this can still be used on GSM 900 by the looks of it, as well as GSM 1800. So you got BD Cellnet, which is obviously O2, UK Vodafone, and 1-to-1. They did away with the Orange cell towers, so you're left with just 1-to-1. So select that, you're good to go. And then to go back in the menu, quickly sift through this. Networks, access, barring, call waiting, card lock. I'm not going to go into that because I don't know what the menu structure's like. Not worth the risk. Phone lock, same thing. Call card security. I guess that would be SIM card security. Not even sure. I do have the manual, so I could always read up on that if I was so inclined. Fixed dialing. I explained that in the other video actually, but this is a nifty little feature that allows you to set particular numbers. So if you lent this phone to a friend and you only wanted him to call you back, or his wife, you could program your number and his wife's number into the cell, put fixed dialing on, and then he would only be able to dial his number or my number that was in the fixed dial list. Real neat feature this. This is obviously from an era where when cell phone calls were expensive. Nowadays, everybody's got unlimited minutes. Certainly, I've had unlimited minutes on my cell phone tariff for about I think it's like 5 years, since like late 2010 I think it was. So even the prepays now have such high allowances that you generally don't even worry about call costs anymore. So this fixed dial thing I think has been done away with on most modern phones, purely because it's not applicable anymore, and actually the networks kind of want you to place calls. So I think they did away with it just purely because they didn't want to prevent you making calls, because obviously it boosts revenue for them. So going back to the menu, then let's have a look. Access, that's where we've just been. Settings is always a good one. Ear volume, that's earpiece volume obviously. Ring type medium, I'm not too sure what that means. So that'll be your different ring types basically. Gee, that brings back a lot of memories, doesn't it? You could even do a mix of ringtones. How about that? Do your own remix. So we'll leave it at medium because that's just what it was set at. I'm not really keen on any of those ringtones, but you get the idea. You could obviously edit your own, and that would appear in the own melody. Clock and date, self-explanatory really. That's not quite right, and actually nor is that. But it's always close. I think it's about a day out, a day and a couple of hours out. But anyway, mail alert, that'll be your text message alerts. They call them mail. I don't know why. Maybe in Sweden there's only one word for messages, and that's translated into mail. Key lock I'm not going to go into because I don't know the key code to this. Key sound, that's obviously the beeps you've been hearing. Light, minute minder, again this feature I talked about in the other video. Again, this goes back to when cell phones didn't have unlimited minutes, and this basically beeped for every minute you were on the call. It actually, most phones that had this beeped 50 seconds into the minute, so that you had 10 seconds to hang up and save yourself another minute's worth of call charges. Again, nowadays, none applicable because most people don't really worry about cell phone charges. Call list, call info, what is that? Time outgoing. Oh, this will be, what have I just done? Call info. I'm not sure what I've done, but whatever it is, never mind. Answering mode, any key, auto, well, I guess that's the only two options. Hands-free, auto store, I'm not too sure what most of these are. Phone number, I guess you could program your own phone number in there. Language. Data menus, master reset, and that was it. What else you got? Set alarm. If you use this phone to wake you up in the morning, I guess this is where you'd set it up. Mail, read messages. Anything interesting in there? Didn't look like it. These are all really old. I mean, 2011. Jesus. So yeah. Never mind. Send message, obviously you could send text messages with this phone. Options is always a good one. Message standard type, that's just SMS, I guess. Service center, interestingly the Orange still have the original Orange service center or message center number in there, despite the fact that they've shut off the Orange network and they're just using Mercury 1-to-1 cell towers now. So I guess we'll store that. What else we got? And reply required, valid per, I guess this is the validity time, and that was it. Message standard, so let's get out of that. I keep pushing the pound key because that's what I'm used to navigating. On the old Motorola's is pound and star to navigate left and right. Did it again there. Read messages, we've been through that. What else we got? Phone book. Phone book's always a good one. Anything in the memory? Just a random number, I guess. 1-800-985-1212. Not sure what that's for, but out it goes. And I think that's pretty much it. I don't think there's much else apart from phone book. The SIM menu, that's just something EE put on their SIM cards, or Orange put on their SIM cards, just for pay-as-you-go customers. Information. Need to know the lotto results? No, I don't. They probably charge for that as well. So that's probably about it. I can't really tell you guys much about these phones. Like I said, I'm not an expert on Ericsson's as such, but neat little phone. I guess the battery does hold some charge because I've talked for about a quarter of an hour and it's still got full battery. So pretty impressive, given I've had this phone probably, well, at least, I'm not sure, but at least I'd say 5 years, and I haven't charged this once. So, well, I charged it now before doing the video, but in the 4 or 5 years I've had it, I don't think I've ever charged it. Incidentally, I think the messages were actually on the SIM card. I don't think they were on the phone, because I recognize one of those numbers. But anyway, that's all I can say really. It's got a little RF connector there for when you put it into your car kit, I guess. And you could place calls in your car, and that was it. By today's standards, this is probably a very basic phone. I would say this is almost as basic as like the Nokias that I did last week and the week before, which I still have loads to do, but I thought I'd do an Ericsson for a change, because I've been getting a few requests to do one, and to do 3 Nokias in a row probably isn't the best idea, because people get bored. But I do have, like I said, the older ones, which I will try and dig out, the much bigger ones. This is a modern one. I do have the GH series and GF series, I think they were, and EF. I've got an EF something or other off the top of my head. I had a quick look through my list, and there's a few Ericssons. Of course, I got the bigger ones as well. I've pulled this one out just to show you. This is a hotline. This is by Ericsson, obviously. I've got the antenna. It's in the box. I didn't put it on, but and this does work. I've had this powered up a few months back before moving, so this is a nice piece. But by comparison, in today's standards, this is analog, by the way. You can't use this anymore unless you find an NMT provider that still has service. This is GSM, obviously, because it takes a SIM. And you can still use these Ericssons pretty much anywhere in the world where there's GSM 900 or GSM 1800. So that's almost everywhere, with the exception of North America, Canada, Central America, and Southern America, or what I call the Americas, including Canada, where you can't use one of these phones. Certainly this model. Obviously, Ericsson did many models, and they will be the equivalent model to this for use on GSM 1900. To be honest with you, I don't know what that model is. Like I said, I'm not an expert when it comes to Ericsson. That's all I can say about this particular one. I will try and do a video about this bad boy up here, just to give you a comparison for size. How about that? That is significantly smaller in terms of what you had to carry around. And this isn't actually the nicest to hold, this handle, because it's rock hard, and the shape of it is a little funny. But you'd much rather have this in your shirt pocket. So, but anyway, give me a thumbs up if you like the phone or the video. I would say drop me a comment if you got any questions about this phone. But like I say, I'm not an expert. I will try and do my best to answer. But there's probably people watching these videos that know more about Ericsson than I do. I got to hold my hand up, because that's the fact. I'm a Nokia and a Motorola kind of guy. But fire away if you got any questions or comments, and I'll do my best. If you haven't subscribed yet, obviously hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching.